Hi, and welcome back to the Wicked Thrifter Resell channel.
Here's our first stop today, Goodwill. Fingers crossed.
Today's going to be kind of a montage of thrifting here. We're going to check out a few different places, but it's going to be over a few different days. So bear with me, kind of put together a few of our shorter videos to kind of make it more interesting for you. That first item there that I was looking at with the butterflies on it is more of a modern Chinese piece. The average sell price is around $34, and at $15 that wasn't worth picking up. I like the look of these bowls here, a studio pottery feel to them, but they had a more manufactured feel, so I ended up leaving them behind. I actually put this in the cart for a while. It was only at $3.99 for the buy-in cost, but the current sell prices are about $8 to $12, so I ended up putting that back. This really intrigued me. I thought maybe it was going to be a Hager pottery piece, but I couldn't find any comps on it that matched that. This is something that I really thought was amazing. We love pickles in our family. I don't know. It was just super neat. I've never seen a piece of stained glass like this, so I grabbed it. I thought these would have been like carved stone, but they actually are resin, so I ended up leaving those behind. And these are etched gourds. They have the seeds still in them, so they make noise, and they're maracas, but I end up leaving those behind as well. I put a lot of things in my cart that ultimately do not come back home with me for resale. Just try to make a final decision right before I leave. That way I'm not pressured and I can take my time and decide, and maybe even look things up later on. Some of this is some vintage glass, but they taped together a whole bunch of different pieces. I end up leaving that behind. Checking out the metal section there, and then I moved over to kind of like their knick-knack section, but it's turned into kind of a hodgepodge. This is a little rope basket. I don't grab that. And there's a teapot back there that might have been Televar Mexican pottery, but I end up not grabbing that. This is something I could have left behind. This is actually a glass storage case. It has drawers. I initially thought, well, worst case, I'll take it home and use it for my own personal needs, but it's not going to work out. This is something I could have left behind. It was $6.99 and actually sells on Amazon for, I believe, $18 to $24. So we'll see. I'll probably end up having to redonate that or use it for some other purpose. This intrigued me because it actually had a stamped, more like quality type finish to it as well. It actually doesn't sell for a ton, so I left that behind. I tend to grab any lamps like this, these little accent lamps that kind of have like a glass shade attached to it. They sell really well. Here I'm checking out the figurine section. This I probably could have grabbed. I grabbed up a bunch of gold like angel curtain rod pieces last week in the last video that sold pretty fast. That might have been the same case with those. Here someone must have donated a bunch of their cat figurine collection. I wish I would have looked at that top shelf a little closer because that brass cat probably would have done decent. All of the brass cats and figurines like dogs have sold really well for me. There are a couple of cat planters there and some glass unicorn figurines. I end up leaving those behind as well. That might have been a candle in the back. Just trying to see if this was a carved wood piece. It wasn't. There's some of those Kim Lawrence pieces. And here's just a glimpse of the cart, what I actually end up taking with me. You can see that a lot of the items have been taken out and put back on the shelves. And here is the next location. First item that I pick up at this location is another lamp. It's a resin stacked turtle lamp. I end up taking off the shade because those don't sell very well. For me, people like to put their own little touch to the lamp bases themselves. I probably paid a little too much for that. I initially put this in the cart. I'd put it back. I can't remember exact reason why I decided to go or to leave this behind, but maybe because I have a ton of wood carved figurines that I'm still in the process of listing, but also it looks like that it's missing a cigar or a pipe or something that's supposed to be in his mouth. I do pick up this carved wood bird or duck, and it's signed on the bottom a pintail duck, and it's actually already sold. So $10.99 is a little more than I'd like to pay for these items, but when it's a fast turnaround, something that'll sell relatively quick, I don't mind paying a little bit more for them. This was really neat. At first, when I picked it up, I had no clue what I got. I just thought it had a really nice quality. It was definitely crystal and there was no damage to it. They did want $10.99, which is a little high for something like that, but it ended up being Lalique, which is, the French crystal, and it actually sold right away. Here's kind of a glimpse of the items that I picked up, a little bit of a haul. I tried to go over what I picked up. I realized that a lot of this didn't end up on film, like this little jewelry box that sold right away. I really liked the stained glass pickle, like sun catcher. If that doesn't sell, that's something that I would be more than willing to keep. I think it's really cute. There's a Swedish horse wall pocket there, maybe rocking horses. That ended up being decent. This base to a Fenton piece sold already. I haven't listed the Gothic candle sconce on the back or in the back there. I have yet to do that, but I thought that would be a really nice piece for Halloween coming up. This video was kind of short, so I'm going to add in some additional footage here. Coming up, you'll see some snippets from other shopping trips as well. So far, not off to a bad start, though the first store I went to is closed because it is the 4th of July. I didn't expect many stores to be open, but I did find a couple of good things. This stained glass angel, this was really weird looking, just weird enough to pick up, right? And a very dirty Wedgwood teapot. So that's all she wrote for so far today. We'll see what we find the rest of the day. You'll see here the prices weren't too outrageous at this location, but I did pick up 3 items and not much else there. I'm going to head to another store here. This is a Savers location. There's a couple things in the cart already that I will show coming up, but this is a Tree of Life. I can't remember the name. I can't say it anyway. It's a blown glass ornament. I've picked up a couple of these in the past, and they tend to do really well around Christmas time. There's also a hand-blown glass, like wall pocket or vase that's a hanging vase, and it's signed by the artist, and that does well for me as well. They always sell, and it was only $4.99. I also grabbed this carved wood monk figurine. It's signed on the bottom there. $3.99 is not a bad price. I generally, like I said, always pick up these when I have a chance if it's not too much of a price or too high of a price. These dog figurines were really stinking cute, but they take a long time to sell, so I end up leaving those behind. Here I'm checking out the pottery section. There wasn't a ton, but you'll see in my hand here, I do find a Waterford crystal piece. They only wanted $2.99 for it, so I scooped that up, and that should do fairly well. I also spotted this Fenton like satin glass votive or tea light holder. It's kind of like a fairy light, but usually has an insert on the inside, like a clear glass insert to hold the candle. Here we're hitting another Goodwill, checking out their vase section to begin with. Nothing's really standing out to me. A lot of these items have been here for weeks. They do generally clear out from time to time, but a lot of these are standard pieces that I see quite often. I do spot this. It had a really nice quality from it from far away. It's Nambe, and it's a crystal glass decanter or pitcher. I mean, it actually sells for a decent amount of money, so I was pretty happy with that pickup. This actually had some hidden damage on it. It's another decanter, had the stopper. Underneath the tape, there's a really huge chunk of glass missing out. So I just mistaken it for just the crinkling of the tape, but it was not. So I ended up going back on the shelf. I was trying to see if those were sterling silver, and they were not. I ended up leaving them behind. Here's a nice art pottery basket, and it is signed. I do grab this. I believe it's parsley pottery, and it's signed on the bottom. I initially thought this might have been Blanco or a glass manufacturer like that. I do put it in the cart for a little bit, but it ends up going back on the shelf, unfortunately. These were definitely handmade, but I've had some bad luck with delivery of items like this. They end up getting cracked in half on shipping, no matter even if I do a box within a box. So I have been steering kind of clear of those larger pottery pieces like that. And these were handmade pottery as well. They had like a pinched side for your thumb or for holding it. They intrigued me a little bit, but I ended up leaving those behind. And I had the spout on this one, kind of like it was a creamer. Initially, I was super excited about finding all these, but I was kind of bummed to find out that they're not worth that much. So I ended up putting them back on the shelf. I do scoop up this little art pottery basket wall pocket. These generally don't sell for a ton of money, but they sell pretty regularly for me. I did scoop this up, but I haven't listed it just yet. It's just a 4-leaf clover taper candle holder. They'll do better in a pair, but I grabbed it anyway. I like the painting on this, but I end up not grabbing it. As you can see, my cart is full with those cups that end up going back. This was a nice pottery vase there. I do grab this. We're at another location now, and this actually just recently sold. It's a votive or tea light candle holder, and it's signed. Really like the colors, so of course I grabbed that. This actually just sold to a repeat buyer of mine who, oh my gosh, if you're a viewer, I appreciate you so much. You pretty much gave me the best sales weekend I've had in a long time, so I appreciate it. Initially, I put this in the cart. They only wanted $2.99 for it. It's a little like cameo style trinket box, and then this crystal paperweight. I have a few of these, so I end up leaving that behind. This piece piqued my interest a bit. They only wanted $8.99 for it. I couldn't make out any distinguishing marks on it, but there was some chipping. I ended up leaving that behind just because I don't know a lot about those pieces. The same goes for like bean pots. Here's a cut to clear like flash glass. I'm not exactly sure Ruby Bell. Bells don't do well in my store, so I tend to stay clear of those. And I thought these chairs were so unique. If I had had the space in my vehicle to be able to take these home, they actually sell for a good amount of money. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us today. Thanks for taking the time to watch the videos. If you have any questions, just drop them down in the comments below. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, if you can, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great one.